Throughout the long and intricate tapestry of Indian history, few events stand as stark and transformative as the battles fought at the plains near Panipat. Here, dynasties clashed, empires crumbled, and the very future of the Indian subcontinent was repeatedly rewritten. The significance of Panipat lies not merely in the blood spilled on its fields, but in the enduring consequences these confrontations imposed upon the cultural, political, and economic landscape of India. The three major battles fought at Panipat, in 1526, 1556, and 1761, are defining milestones that shaped the destiny of a nation and resonated far beyond their immediate aftermath. The first dramatic clash at Panipat occurred on April 21, 1526. The stakes could not have been higher. The Delhi Sultanate, under the command of Sultan Ibrahim Lodi, was frayed by internal discord and weakening authority. Meanwhile, marching toward India from the northwest was an ambitious leader of formidable pedigree, Babur, a descendant of both Timur and Genghis Khan. Babur arrived with a force that was modest in size compared to the armies traditional to India, but brought with him innovations that would change South Asian warfare. The deployment of cannons and gunpowder firearms, unfamiliar and fearsome to the Indian subcontinent, gave Babur a decisive edge. On the morning of the battle, the clash seemed evenly matched, but as Babur's artillery roared, and the heavy war elephants of Ibrahim Lodi's army faltered before the onslaught, the tide swiftly turned. Ibrahim Lodi was killed on the battlefield, marking the end of the Lodi dynasty and the Delhi Sultanate as a ruling power. Babur's victory laid the cornerstone for the Mughal Empire, an empire that would wield immense influence across India for more than 3 centuries. The First Battle of Panipat was not merely a military triumph. It was the prelude to a cultural, administrative, and architectural renaissance, one in which the Mughals introduced new governance, monumental art, and a syncretic blend of Persian and Indian traditions. 3 decades later, the fields of Panipat would once again bear witness to momentous strife. The Mughal Empire, despite its early promise, had not yet secured its dominion. The Second Battle of Panipat, on November 5, 1556, would see Akbar, an adolescent emperor thrust into leadership, face perhaps the greatest threat to the early Mughal state. Hemu, a seasoned general who had risen through the ranks of the fragmented Afghan and Hindu kingdoms of northern India, had seized control of Delhi. Hemu's army was experienced and initially prevailed, pushing the Mughals back. However, fate intervened. During the thick of battle, Hemu was wounded by an arrow to the eye, causing chaos among his ranks. His capture demoralized his soldiers, and the Mughals were able to rout his army. This battle had profound consequences. The victory not only ensured the preservation of the Mughal Empire, but also facilitated the rise of Akbar as one of India's greatest rulers. Akbar's reign came to be known for its policy of religious tolerance, far-reaching administrative reforms, and an efflorescence of culture that continued to influence India for generations. Through the consolidation achieved at Panipat, the Mughal Empire advanced a legacy marked by stability and enduring cultural achievements. Yet history is a cycle of ascendance and decline. By the middle of the 18th century, the Mughal Empire had lost its former glory, beset by internal divisions, rebellions, and the intrusion of foreign powers. In this vacuum, the Maratha Confederacy emerged as the preeminent indigenous force, seeking to extend its empire from the Deccan region to the heartland of northern India. The Marathas, under Sadashivrao Bhau, marched northwards, confident in their strength and bent on breaking the remnants of Mughal power. But standing in their path was Ahmad Shah Durrani, also known as Ahmad Shah Abdali, the ruler of Afghanistan and a shrewd military strategist. The Third Battle of Panipat, fought on January 14, 1761, was among the bloodiest in history, with casualties counted in the tens of thousands. The Marathas, initially holding the advantage, found themselves outmaneuvered. Trapped by supply issues and unable to receive reinforcements, their army faltered in the face of a determined and tactically astute Afghan force. The defeat was catastrophic. The Maratha leadership was decimated, and the socio-political impact reverberated across northern India. The dream of Maratha hegemony, the restoration of a united native power in the north, crumbled in the dust. But perhaps the most profound consequence of this third and final confrontation at Panipat was not merely the defeat of the Marathas. Their decimation created a power vacuum that foreign actors were eager to fill. The British East India Company, having secured its foothold in Bengal and southern India, saw opportunity in the fractured and enfeebled subcontinent. Within decades, the British would expand their control, replacing the specter of empire with the reality of colonial rule. The Third Battle of Panipat, then, can be seen as both an end and a beginning. The decline of the last great indigenous challenge to foreign dominion, and the opening chapter of a new era of external control. Across these three epical clashes, the legacy of Panipat emerges as more than a series of military encounters. These battles reflected the shifting sands of power, the fragility of even the mightiest empires, and the relentless march of history. The lessons of Panipat are not solely about strategy or bravery. They are about the adaptability of societies, the unpredictability of fortune, and the enduring quest for unity in a land of immense diversity. The empires built and lost here shaped art, language, governance, and collective memory. To contemplate the battles of Panipat is to understand the crucible in which modern India was forged, its tragedies, triumphs, and the unbroken thread of resilience that runs through its story.